yeah, not too much is happening. I've almost got the exhaust finished for the V-twin, so yeah, but I'll show you what I've been up to. Yeah. And for those of you interested in the 350cc V4 two-stroke build, yep, that is definitely happening. I'm getting parts show up all the time, and so far I've modelled the two halves of the crankcase, the cassette, designed my own oil pump, the lay shaft, the water pump drive, and the water pump. The water pump is actually off of a GSXR 1000, you'll see it in a sec. And that oil pump, it's actually modified internals from a Honda C50, and that will feed the innards of the input-output shaft. But otherwise, it's definitely happening, and I've got a plan for how I'm going to manufacture it, so stay tuned. But yeah, this is definitely worthy of its own video. So what you're looking at here is a bit of 28mm pipe. I freehanded it with an angle grinder, TIG welded it, not my best work, but it'll do, and made up a small collector. And then from there, I just fabricated the rest of the exhaust out of the same 28mm tube. I just cut opposite 15-degree angles on the bandsaw, probably about a dozen of them, and just used them for all my 90 degrees, just little pie cuts. Easy to do, and then I'm just sort of free-handing it as I go. I just need to connect this piece to the collector there. This pipe here needs to come up and out under the seat. The plan is to mount this muffler like so. So it looks pretty sick. I'll probably make a little bracket to attach to this off of where the tail unit bolts to. So the next thing I had to do was make a small sleeve on the lathe. Yeah, from there I drilled it, bored it, and then machined down the OD. So the purpose of this part is so I can have a join in the exhaust, as it'll be almost impossible once fully welded to install it on the bike in one piece. So the plan is weld this to cut the pipe in half, slip this over, do a weld the whole way around, and then use springs to clamp the pipe together like, you know, many other motorcycles, and it should just sort of seal based on the fit. There might be a small exhaust leak, but I am not too fussed. So here's the finished part. A couple of features, so a little freehand chamfer there, and then I took an extra 0.1 off, and then as it was auto feeding, I wound it off so it actually slides in easy for the first 10mm, and then it gets very tight as it's a 0.02 clearance fit. So that should be pretty good at self-sealing on the exhaust. Last time out at the track, I also took out the RGV, working on the jetting. I didn't have enough jets for it, so I've rode the bike up and down the street with a 120 main jet in there, and it rips. Wheelies, first, second, sometimes into third gear, but I didn't know if it was on the cusp of being too lean, so what I did was slapped a 150 in there and then worked my way back down. But I only had a 135 as my smallest jet, and then the next smallest jet was 120, so I wanted to try at least a 130 and a 125. So China saved the day again. I think these are about $7 a bag, and they showed up in a week. So at that first meet, at lunchtime, I'll see if they'll let me take the bike out with a 130 in there and then a 125, and hopefully I can get some proper track time on this once the jetting is dialed in.